2, 1.
What up, ladies and gents? Happy Monday, and it's a fun one.
Heck yeah!
Hey, I got a question. Anybody got anything on their bucket list they want to get rid of?
Ooh, I do.
That today.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business and social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. What up? All
There
right,
it is.
time for the fire intro.
Oh, yeah, here we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the start of another awesome week with the Business Bros Pod. I know it's cliche to label today as Motivation Monday, but ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is incredibly motivating. I really think he's going to make our audience think and, more importantly, take action. Known as the bucket list guy, our guest today has been featured in as a TEDx speaker and is globally recognized as the world's #1 bucket list expert. Our guest created his Things to Do Before I Die list when he was just 18, and while he's crossed off a lot from his own list, he's even more dedicated to the idea of helping others wake up, live their dreams before it's too late. We're excited to have this incredible guest with plenty of stories to share on the show today. Joining us from the other side of the world, please welcome the host of the Bucket List Life podcast, the Bucket List guy, Trav Bell.
How about that?
Wow. I tell you, that is the most, I mean, I'm on podcasts all the time, guys, and I must admit, this experience is already, one of the best.
Good. I hope so.
Thanks.
We should have learned something after 543 episodes. I'd like to think we got a little something under our belts.
140. Oh, wow. Wow. Guys, you guys got it nailed. I'm stoked to be on.
Straight. All right, okay, so I'm going to start off with the only thing I really know about a bucket list. It's things that we got to do before we die. We had Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman make a awesome, funny movie about the bucket list. What does Jack Nicholson say? He says something like, never waste a hard-on, never pass up a bathroom, and never trust a fart. Those are the 3 things I learned as you get older that you need to make sure you never pass up. But that movie really does bring home a lot of the bucket list things, right? They start doing all kinds of crazy stuff that you probably wouldn't do if you weren't facing your mortality.
Terminal cancer,
right?
Yeah.
Terminal cancer.
I'm lost it. I'm still on never waste a hard on.
Truth.
I'm not even listening to you now. Like I'm good. Jack was right.
I mean, okay, never waste a heart, but never trust a fart either. I mean, you get a little bit older and you never know what's going to come out that end.
Yeah, true. I'm 47. I'm starting to get into that zone.
Oh, no. Plenty of time. 40's a new 20.
Wow. Yeah, look, here's the thing, about that movie. Like when I go speak, when I go and do present, I get stuck into the movie. I think the movie is bullshit because it's about 2 guys, as we say in Australia. It's about 2 blokes that get given a cancer diagnosis, and then they write a bucket list, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit too late, don't you think? So at the end of the day, I want to help wake people up before they get given a use-by date.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was. That's what I was saying after we lost sight of the erection, right? But that's what I was saying is like, why wait till you have that expiration date? Why wait till the end? Isn't it? I mean, we've been dying since the day we were born, but how do we convince ourselves to take some of these leaps, these risks?
Well, man, it's a really good question. We're so busy being busy. We're busy on our to-do list, not on our bucket list, until something traumatic or dramatic happens to us or a loved one, that we suddenly get this shock, this slap, this emotional trauma that helps us hopefully wake up and reprioritize. But human beings are stupid like that. Like, it takes us something so dramatic to then suddenly reprioritize what is actually important to us in our lives. and this is not a selfish, it shouldn't be looked at as selfish. It's about putting your own oxygen mask on first before you can help others. It's a self-leadership lesson more than just writing a list and then running around the world and traveling to all these exotic locations and doing all the stupid shit that you want to do. At the end of the day, it really is a self-leadership lesson. And, all I like to give people is that wake-up call, this other perspective to look at their life through, and wake them up before they get given their use-by date so they can have more meaningful, more purposeful, more fulfilled lives, have a regret-free life rather than a regret-full life. And there's so many people, as you know, just walking around, sleepwalking through their life, existing, not living by default rather than by design. And at the end of the day, that's my whole mission, has been like that for 10 years. Help wake people up so they don't end up like the movie.
Well, let me throw some devil's advocate stuff on here, because I like to play the other side. When our minds our physiology, we're designed to survive. We're not really designed to mentally kind of take that initiative to thrive. We're mostly designed to, watch out for that corner. It's dark right there. Don't go in that direction. This is the safe route. That's basically how we've been, over millenniums, over I don't know, Darwinism, whatever you want to call it, evolution, right? This is how we've evolved. This idea that I can be better, that I can do more, is not just it's I think twofold. One is the fact that you got to get over your own mind stopping you from doing that, and then second, you got to get over other people telling you that you have limitations, that you are only capable of certain things, right? How do you get people to get through that internal barrier, that internal block, and then of course what everybody else is telling them?
Well, you've just described two societal patterns that actually keep us in a box. You've just described the matrix. We're all. One of my catch cries is people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80. They honestly give up. There's a lot of people just literally sleepwalking through their life. We're all, we are the product of society. When you have your midlife crisis, just calm down. Don't stop pushing the envelope. That'll do. And complacency sets in, which is really hard. It's a really hard inertia to break. Really hard to get going again. So complacency sets in, and also, we're all comparing our behind the scenes footage with someone else's highlights reel. We're all comparing. We live in a comparative society of your life is so awesome, mine, and it made even worse by social media. The thing is, so many people, look, here's the stats. We've got something wrong. If we're waiting until someday, the perfect time to do everything that we want to do in our lives, that someday never comes around. There is no perfect time. And at the end of the day, with depression, anxiety, we've even got this thing called the loneliness epidemic just skyrocketing. Like literally during COVID-19, at the time of filming this, we're in lockdowns here in Australia. Depression statistics have doubled. Like something's wrong. Something's wrong. The overprescription of antidepressants. I hate to say suicides, youth suicides are on the increase as well. So something's broken. All right. So why not live a life of more intentional design? Why not create some more me time for yourself to go after the things that you truly want to go after before your time is up, because we don't know when our time is up. How many people are going through their life sacrificing their happiness now to enjoy later, but don't get that later, time. How many people do we know that have gone through their whole life, worked their ass off, built the business, and then had 5 to 10 good years and just suddenly, goodbye? That makes me so sad, and this whole bucket list concept is not just about bucket list, it's really about happiness. It's about helping people live with more meaning, more purpose, more fulfillment in their life. That's what it's all about. But
Today, Junior.
Got to get it done today.
yeah, exactly. And it's not, I love these little cut-ins. Really cool. I don't know what's going to happen. I've still got hard on. I don't know.
That's going to be a new one. I went on the Business Bros show and I couldn't get a hard one out of my head.
Why am I doing this? So it's 9 a.m. here in Australia on Tuesday morning, and you've really just preset the whole frame of my day. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So yeah. Thanks for that.
Certainly more enjoyable than my average day.
Who's doing that? Oh, it's so cool. And, in a way, like I've been banging this drum for 10 years, right? And I know this perspective has helped a lot of people. I am the result of coming through my own bout of depression, and then what I do now is, me trying to help others of what I went through. And we love to think that we're in this utopian, unicorn world with so much positivity, but the statistics don't lie.
I think a lot of people spend a lot of mental time in the future, right? I know I do. I spend a lot of time thinking about what's going to happen. What am I planning for? Where am I going? For example, my post for today on Instagram, it basically said, what are you waiting for? Like, if you want a better tomorrow, you have to take action today. Today is the only thing that we all have control over. We don't really have.
Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift.
Exactly, right. Today's the only thing we actually can control, right? And if we do things today, they will affect what we have in store for tomorrow. Whether it's your business goals that you want to achieve, whether it's your family goals, whether it's your spiritual, your health goals, whatever it is, the only moment you actually have control over is today. And when we think about that future and we realize how little control we actually have about what's going on in the future, I think that's where a lot of that anxiety and that depression and a lot of those things sit. What do you tell people when they're telling you, I'm stressed out about, my work. I'm stressed out about, where my finances are going to be. I don't know how to pay my bills. They're all thinking in that forward direction. How do you get them to zone in on today?
Well, before, it's actually not about what you just described is actually still about the future. One of the pretenses of positive psychology, and really the foundation of what I've taught for all these years, is based on positive psychology. And that really is the science of happiness. One of the big pillars, one of the cornerstones of positive psychology is actually helping people be grateful. All right, be mindful of where they're at right now, rather than even in the future, and even thinking about the past, is just be grateful right now. So we have this concept called the reverse bucket list, for instance. It's not just about the future, because that can really, people don't write stuff down because they're afraid of not achieving stuff in the future. So that's why a lot of people don't even write goals down. And for instance, while we're on that, did you know that you've got a 42% more likelihood of your goals actually manifesting if you just write stuff down, believe it or not. So if you get this thing called a pen, I know it's very old-fashioned, very analog. It's got this thing called a pen, and you've got this thing. Hang on, wait for it. You've got this thing called a notepad and a pen. If you actually write stuff down, ladies and gentlemen, you've got a 42% more likelihood of them actually manifesting, of your goals actually showing up. So you might as well just get that done, because at the end of the day, what we've got to do is separate your to-do list from your bucket list. Right now, it's swimming up there with each other. It's a soup right now. What we're going to do is separate the two, write it down, make it more conscious, and it's amazing what happens. Worry about the what and the why, not about the how. But first, let's write a reverse bucket list. So I challenge you guys to write a reverse bucket list. A reverse bucket list is your done list. Think of everything that you've done in your life as if it were in a bucket list all the way along. And I challenge people to really do this exercise, and it puts them into a place of real gratitude, okay? And it puts them into a place of remembering everything that they've done that's been fun and adventurous, and it really does ignite the spark, if that spark has been dampened. And it gives people an amazing foundation for, creating the future. So before you even think about the future, write the reverse bucket list. Think about that. And I challenge people, because we live, like you just said, Herm, is we live in such a future-based world. Is like, I'll be happy when syndrome. Right?
When you're writing that reverse bucket list, the done list, are these
the
big
done
things?
list.
Are these major things that we've accomplished? Could it be, is it just anything that comes to mind?
Just in like the 30 seconds that we've been talking here, guy built a business, skydive, backpack Yosemite, get a degree.
All right. So Hernan, yours 3, 4, or 5.
Let's see. I got kids. Started a business. Bought my home. I don't know. There's quite a few things that I feel I've accomplished.
Yeah, keep on writing, keep on documenting, and go better yet, create a reverse bucket list board, and that is a picture that best represents each of those things in your life. And if you start to build up this catalog of reverse bucket list as well as your future bucket list, it really gives you a sense of, shit, if I can do that, imagine if I actually put some thought into this, and rather than rather than living by default, you're living by design now. You're living a lot more intentionally now, and that gives people such a confident place to then create their future from. And at the end of the day, we got two lists. So we got a reverse bucket list, our done list, and we got a future bucket list, and we've also got a third list. And that's the, I don't know if I can swear here, but it starts with F, and that's a bucket list. And that's like all the stuff that you see online that you think, what, that'd be amazing. Nah, that I don't want to do that. So that's the third list, the bucket list.
Skydiving.
That's
I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good plane.
Bungee jumping.
YOLO.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either. That's not my thing.
But, but here's the thing, and then just, here's Trav's big philosophy in life. Pick a vehicle that creates the time flow and the cash flow for you to do all the cool stuff that you want to do in your life. And pick a vehicle, job, career, business, whatever it might be, that spits out those two things. But double bonus, I think the holy grail is the fact that you like what you do. You're of service to the community, which you guys are. You're helping people at the core of it, and you actually enjoy what you're doing out there in the world. And a lot of people, I know in America, 89% of people who go to work every day do not like what they do. That's a stat. That's is scary. Terrible. That's what they call that's called disengagement. So I think the holy grail is actually liking what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. You're of service to people. It's spitting out the time flow and the cash flow that you need for you and your family to go and do your bucket list items that you want to do. And at the end of it, there's not a lot of people that can say that they've got that holy grail totally tuned in. But, this is all about happiness. This is all about helping people, have more meaning, purpose, and like we said, fulfillment in their life.
Do you have any processes that you teach your clients, specifically things like vision boards, for example, or weekly, annual goal setting? Like, what types of things do you dig into with your clients that help them achieve the life level that pushes them to accomplish their bucket list items?
Well, I did a TED talk a few years ago, about 5 years ago, called "Life's Too Short" by Trav Bell, and that was terrifying, and that was actually on my bucket list. So I actually crossed it off live in front of 2,000 people. It was terrifying. Awesome. It's about 18 minutes, and about 3 minutes I start to do this one. So I was nervous, and for me, you'll see I've got 4 cameras on me. I'm on a 3x3 red dot in front of 2,000 people. I was like a cage monkey because I run around like an idiot on stage. And but doing that TED talk, what I did in that TED talk was I introduced and unpacked a concept called the My Bucket List Blueprint. It's a 12-letter acronym for how to create a personally meaningful and holistic bucket list. So it really helps a person unpack and articulate this personal list. So it's 12 letters. I can quickly run through it if you want, but that's a really good starter for a lot of people. It's not just about the travel things that we want to do. It's You know, and it really has helped a lot of people over the last 10 years. So myself and our bucket list coaches teach that around the world.
What was the name of that video, that TED Talk that you did?
It's called Life's Too Short by Trav Bell, TEDx Melbourne. And I've got a mohawk in that. That was my midlife crisis haircut. My fuck you 40 haircut.
That's funny. James had the same thing when he came out of the Navy. He was like, you know what? I'm doing it. And so he went to go take his DMV, his picture, his driver's license picture. He's got the mohawk.
I did.
Wicked. I love it.
So, you're gonna have to make me find it and bust that out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show it. So Trav, how does one figure out who they are? You know what I mean? Like, I've been asking myself that question quite a bit because I've accomplished a lot. I do a lot. I have a lot of licenses. There's a lot of, professions that I'm proficient in. There's a lot of things that define me, but who I am and who I want to be, I think need more fine tuning. What do you suggest, people do to help figure that part out? Because, happiness can be defined in so many ways, but I don't think unless you have a specific direction in where you want to go and clearly this is the direction that you're going in, it's kind of hard to be happy because you're kind of settling for what everybody else is pointing you in.
Well, that's the problem, like stop comparing yourself to everyone else. Number one, that debilitates people. That creates so much inertia. And like I said before, people are just so busy comparing. Social media is the adverse effect of social media now has become the loneliness epidemic. And that's actually a thing, the loneliness epidemic, worth Googling. It's scary. But we are in such a comparative world. It's debilitating. So I like to keep things really simple and not overcomplicate it for people. Is don't worry about who you are. Just worry about what you want to do with your time, and the kind of impact that you want to make with regards to other, with regards to yourself while you're here. The average age, I'd hate to say, the average age of death is around 80 years of age. We haven't got much time left. And I'm not a big advocate for afterlife and all that sort of, we've got this much time left. What are you going to do? What would truly make you happy? And that's why the bucket list for me has always been my true north. And for a lot of people, it's been their true north as well, to help us recalibrate on what does make us happy. For instance, the My Bucket List Blueprint, I'll really rush through it, is it gives you what it does. I say a bucket list is a tangible life plan where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. So really, this brings home the work to live principle and what I call work-life blend, right? But these tangible end steps, they're never ending. You keep adding, you keep crossing, you keep adding, you keep crossing until you die. I mean, why not? At the end of the day, it's not a finite list. It's not a finite list, and it's an infinite list. And so my bucket list stands for meet a personal hero, your proud achievements, buy that special something, whether it be for yourself or for someone else. You, ultimate challenges, conquer a fear. K, kind acts for others. E, express yourself. T, take lessons. L, leave a legacy. I, idiotic stuff. S, satisfy curiosity. And T is travel adventures. A lot of people think of bucket list as traveling around the world, but it's one of 12, and it's the end one. So you go through that, and it creates such an expansive range of reasons for getting up out of bed in the morning. Okay. Yeah, and of course,
nice little arsenal. It's like going to the 7-Eleven slushy machine. There's so many flavors. You can pick one and still be happy with it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you ask most people about their goals in life, and especially this was the big thing that woke me up when I gave my first presentation about all this, is that most people's goals, mate, it's like pay off the house, put the kids through school, do a bit of travel when I'm older. Yeah, and possibly sicker. That's it.
Boring.
That's it. That's our whole 401k system is built on this. I'll get this big nest egg at the end, and it's something's wrong. There's a glitch in the matrix. And
absolutely. Well, let me ask you, Trav. You're the bucket list guy. I mean, when people look at you, they think this guy's tried and done all kinds of great stuff. He's lived the blueprint that he has. So if you could go back and do it over again, because everybody has mistakes, everybody did things that they're not happy about, and it's not, when you hear things like depression, it doesn't mean you don't have a sad day in your life. You just have tools to work your way out of it. Same thing with sadness. It's not that sad things don't happen, is that you have a way of coming out of it.
Yeah.
If you can go back and do it again, right? If you can go back and tell young Trav, 18-year-old Trav, that this is how you want to set yourself up. Like, what can you go back and tell yourself so a younger generation can set themselves up to have more of a my bucket list life?
Yeah, that's a really good question, man. And I've been self-employed my whole life. Like my first 20 years of business was in the personal fitness training industry. So I founded and franchised a chain of personal fitness training studios. So straight out of university, third year uni, I started with personal training in the mid-90s, one of the first personal trainers running around here in Australia, in Melbourne in particular. And then started with one client, ended up, tens of thousands of clients, nearly 2 million personal training sessions, a whole bunch of personal trainers working for me. And then I went through my own bout of depression, found myself in life coaching courses, learning all personal development, walking on fire, hugging it out, high-fiving it with strangers, and, breaking the boards, bending the bars, breaking the arrows, doing all that personal development stuff. And then someone said, hey, why don't you teach this stuff? And that's what actually helped me create the Bucket List Guy. And people often ask me, what would I change about it? No, I'd change nothing. Hey, I'd change a couple of things. One is, and I've got a 23-year-old son, and I've got two 13-year-old boys in my life now, and also a daughter who's 22. And I'm giving the advice that I'm giving to you guys right now. So don't party as much. I swear I could own a bunch of nightclubs now. That I probably should have invested a little bit more wisely rather than just over the bar. So don't party as much, number one. Two, save and buy a property, an investment property, a house as fast as you possibly can. Get into the market as early as you possibly can. And work solidly for at least 5 years to get some, and follow a mentor or a coach or suck it up and do the crappier jobs to earn as much money as you possibly can, but follow someone that you really admire. Get into a business, help someone out, be employed by that company that you could honestly do an apprenticeship with, so to speak. Do an apprenticeship, learn the trade, learn whatever that person is doing, and learn the inner secrets. And more importantly, get around really switched on people rather than some of your friends maybe, and act dumb while you're young. Ask as many questions as you possibly can. Drop your ego. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop trying to find your dream job at 21.
Yeah.
All right, like this is sold to us so much. And yes, quick run through for the millennials.
That's a quick run through for the millennials. That's perfect.
Totally. The thing is, we're all trying to, we're all sold to, find your dream job and find your dream job and never have to work a day in your life. No, get around get around people that
now,
you
if
admire.
you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth.
There you go. Totally. And go and prove to everyone that you're worth investing in, and so, like at the end of the day, that's the kind of advice that I'm giving to my kids. So I'm gonna pay it forward through your channel.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, that's absolutely true. I mean, especially the last part, there's something to be said about having a good day's work, right? Like when you I've had a number of different stories and events where my dad's like, grab a shovel, we're going to be digging up the backyard. And not a single time did I want to do that stuff. But every time when it was over, I could look back and say, you know what, I did that. James and I, we built a retaining wall and it sucked, and we were out there, again, shovel, digging and doing all that stuff. But when we're done, you look back and you're like, I built that. Like there's pride. There's a lot of pride when you have a purpose, when you go and complete a task. Work is not a bad thing. And
it's a great thing, and it's the thing that builds character. And I think that that live life on your terms, design your own, and I could have contributed to that. Is set up an online business and just kick back and watch the online money come in. That entrepreneurship is like the go-to word, especially in business. It's been sold to us so young, and people come out and they get on Instagram and they think they can be an entrepreneur straight away without doing any work, really. Set up a website and just the rest will take care of itself. But, I respect people who've got real businesses who've done the work and that are willing to work hard. I mean, that at the end of the day, everyone has to experience what real hard work is, whether it be hitting the phones every single day in a sales job or digging ditches, whatever it is. But show me that you've done that first, and then you get my respect.
And you learn a lot. Everything that you do on a consistent basis, you learn from. There's a reason why when you hopped on our show, it looked the way it did. It didn't look that way in episode 1, right? Like we progressively gotten better over time. And hopefully at some level, you become a professional at what you do on a consistent basis. And what you do is I want to say irrelevant, but totally relevant to you, right? It's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. But if you can find something that you get good at, people don't pay you for the million things that you can do, mediocre. If they pay you for the one thing that you do really, really well. And if you can, like you said, it's that perfect, trifecta. If you can get that thing that you do really well to be the thing that makes you happy every day, that's a winning recipe right there.
Yeah, and give it a 1, 2, 3 year plan. Don't just get. There's a lot of people that get into things. Give it a couple of months. Oh, look, it's not working. Oh, I'll jump to the next thing. That's happening too much. That is happening too much. Like there's this thing called determination, persistence, and like we said, hard work that people need to get. Unfortunately, millennials. Here I am. Now I'm sounding like a real old man here. They need to get punched. Dude, they need to get punched in the face 5 times and then get up on the 6th. That's it. Yeah. Where else are you going to get that kind of apprenticeship?
Yeah, but here's the one thing I always tell when I hear an argument like that, and I'll hear it from my parents or my peers, because we're right at that age. I'm like, well, yeah, but you raised them. Like they came from you, right? This is the product of what we put into this world. So at the same time, yes, you're right. We've coddled, we've protected, we've sheltered, and they definitely need to be able to take that square punch in the face and realize that it's gonna come with some tears and you're gonna scrape your knees a little bit, but you get up and you keep going, and that's where the winning happens. That's where the victories lie.
Where the calluses are created, and the willingness to get up and get over yourself and look a little silly, drop the ego. That is probably the most undersold thing that people need to learn.
And Nate, you're right. By the way, Nate is a Pipeline Insurance office off of East Street and Broadway in Chula Vista if you're in a San Diego local. So make sure you guys check out his stuff. You're right, Nate. Finding mentors, and sometimes you do got to eat some shit for a while until you get better. And then all of a sudden you're the one becoming the mentor. And that's the transition that I don't think people quite understand. You have to, it's a Star Wars thing, right? You are the Padawan and then you become the master. Like you don't start off as a master. It just doesn't work that way. You work your skills, you learn, you put your time in, and then you become the mentor, right? And then you pass on what you've learned from others.
Yeah, that's it.
Trav, I've had a great time talking to you, my friend. Oh, there, James found it. There it is, right there.
Wow. Is that a faux hawk? Like, is that just the mohawk at the top, or is that full blown all the way?
Oh no, it was all the way to the back. Yeah,
all the way to the back.
Real deal.
This was 3 months after getting out of the Navy. I was like, I'm growing the beard and shaving my head like a mohawk just for fun, just because I can.
Respect. Respect. And now, what are we doing now?
This is COVID hair. I haven't not had a haircut since March.
Shake it out. Shake it out. Let me see the curls.
Oh,
Let me see the
God.
curls. Boom.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We're related, but he got the hair. I didn't.
Yeah. Bring back the
Yep.
hawk. Bring back the hawk.
Oh, man. The curls for the girls, man. The curls for the girls.
For the girls. All right.
I love it.
No girl. I don't know. No.
I got a couple.
Look at that.
There you go.
That's why I've got a hat on. COVID hair.
I think I need to end this. I'm getting a little jealous of all your hair talk.
You can't handle the truth.
Love that movie.
Trav, thank you very much, man, for coming on the show. Hope you had a great time.
You guys are awesome. I love this, and love to do a round 2 if you want. I got to get you guys on mine. So this has been fun.
Absolutely. Ladies and gents, make sure you guys take a follow. I mean, you guys can follow Travis at bucketlistguy.travbell or check out his website. I mean, we just barely scraped the surface. If you're not happy where you're at, if you're struggling where you're at, if you're thinking like, I don't know what tomorrow's going to be like, check out Trav's stuff. I'm sure there's a bunch of information on there that's totally beneficial. Here's the funny thing. You may have heard messages over and over and over again. People have been telling you things. You just haven't been in the mindset to accept the message yet. So if you're feeling like you're in a certain spot, check out some of his stuff. You never know. That message might just be the one you need at that moment in time. Trav, thank you very much for being on the show, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Ladies and gents, that's all we got for you guys today. We'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday. Peace.
Bye-bye.
And we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.com.